The call is yours.
Okay. So that was my fifth point. Did anyone have any questions you wanted to do before we do the final five?
No, we're good. I think so.
Okay.
Maybe at the end.
Sounds good. All right. So number 6, and I know now we got that time limitation. Number 6 is the lack of understanding of your audience. So a quick tip of what you could do, and this was relative to what we were talking about of trying to just capture anybody to bite on what you're putting out there, is to really understand who you are talking to. So you can do brainstorms, and it's really easy to find out who you're talking to because it's you, okay? So it's who you were. So start writing down who you were before. What were your previous jobs? What did you used to do? Like, I used to be a big-time roller skater, or I used to do this. Write down all the things you used to do, and then also write down all the problems that you used to have, or conditions, health conditions, things that you got over, diseases, death, things like that. Write down what has happened in the past. That was you before. Write down everything you are now, what you love, all of that. And then write down everything that you want to be. If you can brainstorm those things about you, that's your target market. Which magazines do you read? Which ones did you read? What TV shows do you watch? What do you do on a Saturday? Do you online shop, or do you like to go to the mall? So all of those types of things that we don't think about, it's just how do you live? And that is going to identify who your person is. And if you can now narrow down who your person is, you're going to be able to speak to them more effectively. Because now, you now know, when are they online? So about yourself right now, when are you most online? When do you check your social media feeds? So if you have a full-time job, you may do it on your breaks. Or if you've got kids, you do a lot of your work when they're in bedtime. So start thinking like you and who you were. So I of course, had babies. I was pregnant when I was doing this. How did I do this when I was pregnant? How did I do this when I was nursing? How did I work out when I was pregnant and post nursing? I've lived all that. I can speak to those people on a topic, of course, that would relate to them. But stop trying to talk to people that's not in your circle. There's a lot of coaches out there that try to create boot camps for your wedding, get ready for your wedding, when they've never been married yet themselves. Or get your body back after having a baby, when they've never had a baby. Because a person who's never had a baby doesn't understand how painfully hard it is to want to get back into shape. You want to get back into shape, but I'm a fitness professional and I hated it to pieces. Couldn't stand working out. You're exhausted and you're angry at a little baby for crying all the time. Like, they don't know. So people who haven't lived or have experience in it, I wouldn't trust them because they don't really know. So really focus on who you know and speak to them on that. Okay, number 7, lack of planning. So just randomly thinking up something or finding something random and putting it up. Your content has to be scheduled. You have to know when your audience is on and put the content up for that. And put the type of content up that they would want to see at that time. So for instance, in the nighttime at 9 o'clock at night for me on Facebook, I best have a better response when I put up a very short exercise video. That's what my market wants to see from me at that time because of who's like me. Mom at home, put the kids to bed, now ready to sit down and not think much. That's who my people are. So you have to plan. And now I know a lot of people are always like searching for content and they don't say, here's a general rule of thumb. Depending on how many times you're going to put up content on your social platform. So say, for instance, we're talking Facebook again. If you're going to post 3 times per day, just have a backup plan. Your backup plan, when you're brain dead and you don't know what to talk about, have a backup plan that one of the things will probably be like a motivational post. The second one will be a how-to video that you found from your favorite magazine site. And then the third one might be a tip that you did in your workout that day. So always just have a go-to. And I'm not saying they have to be that. if you're a gardener. So for instance, a motivational post in the morning always works great. And then a gardening tip, and then a nutrition tip. So always kind of keep the generality, but that's what it could follow so that you always have a go-to. And where you get the ideas is where do you get your information from? Just go to the magazines, go to the people that are putting that content out that you follow, and you're going to get inspiration either for your own creation or share their stuff. Okay. And then you got to be very consistent in the timing of that. So if you can't do it by yourself on the phone, you need to use schedulers. You need to use schedulers to be able to put the content up, or an assistant to be able to do it. Number 8, inconsistent messaging. So for instance, this is a very positive business. And if you put up a negative post, like complaining about the service you just got at the restaurant, or complaining about how you got ripped off at the store, whatever it is, if you're going to complain or jump into negative, nasty politics conversations, that's what people are looking at. People are not motivated by that. Only, you know who's motivated by that? The people who love drama. So if you want drama in your life, then that's what you'll get. So even if crap is happening in your life, you have to be careful about what you say online. So I got to give you this example. It did not happen, but it was me protecting my brand. So over the Thanksgiving, the US Thanksgiving holiday week, we went down to Disney in Florida, and my father-in-law was down there as well because he lives down there in the winter. So he took our kids overnight. And on Monday night, my husband and I are sitting on the couch just watching TV, and I'm drinking a glass of wine. He's drinking like Crown and Coke or something. And he takes a picture, and he thought it would be funny to go up on Facebook and say something like, we're getting trashed because we don't have the kids. I'm like, you can't say that because I don't get trashed, but that's ruining my message. He thought I was oversensitive, but it doesn't matter that it's on his Facebook because we're connected. And I can't have a trashed message about me. So you have to be careful about that. And no, we didn't get trashed. We probably had one. I probably fell asleep right after. You got to protect it. And the last week, my dog, we had to unexpectedly put down, and I did not, he wasn't sick or anything, and it tore me up. I can still cry about it right now. But I thought about that. Like, should I put up a post where I am not my normal self? That I'm not positive. I'm not motivating someone to go eat healthier or be positive for the day. I'm sharing, I really thought about it. Like, should I put up this where I'm in incredible pain and can barely get through this day? And I did, because I need people to see that I'm human, that I don't exercise all the time. I don't love to work out. I have to because it's my life. And I don't like to choose good food. I just do because I know the majority of the time that I'm better. So you have to think about what you put up and how you put it up, because that, of course, is your branding and your message as well. And if you're sporadic, then you're forgettable. So if you aren't consistent, you're forgettable. Number 9, unrealistic expectations and the growth for your business. The challenge with coaches is that when they sign up, they don't want to talk to anyone they know in their real life. And they see so many people having huge success building on social media that that's what they expect is going to happen. It's typically a 3-month rule that you will ever get someone who started following you to come around and ask you for business or whatever it is. So if you are a coach and you start saying, well, I'm a coach, I'm now just going to start putting up motivating and positive things on there and letting people know that they can get the hammer and chisel from me and expect the people to come to you, they're not going to. Because how can you put the shoe on the other foot? Would you want to go and give your hard-earned money and trust and time to someone who just got into something that they have no experience about, but just because you can go buy from their website? You won't. If you don't know them, you're not going to. It's the same thing as if you're going to hire a personal trainer. When you go into the gym and you see this like doggy-eared, excited trainer who wants to train you, but they don't have any before and afters of people that they've helped. Or they're brand new. They just got their personal training certification. They're brand new. Or you've got this other guy who's got books of before and afters. He's been training for years. He's solid in his training systems. He's not begging you to sign up with him for training services. Who would you trust to put your money to? I'd go for the guy, even if he was more, the experienced guy, even if he was more experienced, because I don't want to waste my time. if I'm going to invest myself and my time and my money, I want to make sure I'm going to get the right thing out of it. And that's the same thing as you as a coach. If you go up there and start putting promotion and I'm running a challenge group and you don't have a before and after from running your challenge groups, you can't be successful running challenge groups. So a tip that I have with my new coaches is I have them run free clean eating challenge groups. I started this like 4 or 5 years ago. And it was around this time of year, around the holidays, where I knew people wouldn't want to diet through the weekend. So I said, let me just put together like a 5-day plan. And that started, of course, and people will get quick results. But you need to have before and after pictures from your own challenge groups before you can expect someone's going to want to buy something from you. So when I start my new coaches off, they don't start running 30-day, 60-day challenge groups. I don't think you ever should run a 60-day challenge group, because how many of the population actually finish perfectly 60 days or 90? They don't. So if you're running those, I think you should stop it. I've been in the fitness industry for 25 years and I see what people are committed to, and they are not committed to being perfect in their nutrition and their diet for that long. You just roll them into the next group for those who want to continue. So shorter is better. So the thing with your challenge groups is I have them run those quick win ones, and they get those before and after pictures. So now when they're promoting their next one, they're using other people's pictures, because you can only use your own for so many times. Because then to the public, it's like, well, good for you. You help yourself, but you can't help other people. Why should I trust you? So you need to make sure that you're not just using your own pictures. You have to use other people's. And that is going to make your challenge groups go every month, because you're using the success from every month that you're running one. And finally, number 10, not filling out all the fields. So I like to do a lot of recognition, and I need to get a lot of people's email addresses to send them things for my team, of course. And so a lot of the times I go to their social platform, Facebook mostly, and I try to get their information in their about section or to learn a little bit about them. And I'll go there, and I was actually doing it with some of you guys on here, and it's not filled out. And I was like, okay, I don't really know much about this person then. I can't really say much about them. I can't get in touch with them. So if your contact information is not on there, how is someone going to get in touch with you? If you don't have an opt-in form, how are they going to get in touch with you? Some people really just want to email you. So the thing also, the reason why you want to fill out what your favorite movies are, what your favorite books are, the about section, the bio section, and photos, is you got to think about human nature and what we do. First, let's go on the geeky side, because Google, those are searchable terms. I don't know if you do or don't know this, but if you don't have your fields filled out for all those social platforms and you left them blank, you are missing being Googled, because Google uses that as their capture. So if you don't have your about and you don't have the key terms that are about you in there, then you're missing being found by a lot of people. But the other side of it is, think about your own human nature. When you see someone on, again, Facebook that you think is interesting and you want to find out a little bit more about them, what do? All right. Most of the time I'll click on about and I go to scan and see if they put anything there. Most times, no. So then where do you go next?
Pictures.
There you go. How many people don't have pictures, albums? You got to fill those up. People need to see your life. They need to know what you're about. Do you have kids? Are you married? Do you bike ride? They need to know your life, and you need to have different photo albums. And your final one, of course, your best one is your avatar. So if your avatar is a picture of you and your sister, how am I, someone who doesn't know you, going to know who I'm talking to? I don't know that's your sister. I don't know that's you because you don't have pictures in your photo album. If I have to investigate your site to find out a little bit about you, you've lost me. So you got to make it easier for people. Fill out this information because Google wants it, but then people are going to be attracted to you a lot faster because they see them in you, themselves in you. But if you don't have this all filled out, it's going to be hard. And if you, as the homework assignment from this, if you go to your pictures and you start scanning them, and if they look like, oh, Shakeology, Hammer Chisel, 21 Day Fix, oh, there's me kissing my Shakeology again, there's this, there's a picture of Carl, there's me in Autumn, there's me in there. Hi, commercial. You're a commercial. I don't like you because immediately, if I don't know you, I'm like, oh, if I start talking to this girl, she's going to try to sell me something, and I'm gone because I don't want to be connected to someone. And I think, like, you think everybody knows Autumn. You're talking to the Kool-Aid drinkers. Who's the Kool-Aid drinkers? Why do you have a picture of you and Autumn up as your avatar, or you and Shalene as your avatar, or you and Sean as your avatar? Why? Because people who don't know this world don't know them. So what's the big deal? Are you trying to impress another Beachbody coach? Because guess what? You're going to be answering emails all day from other Beachbody coaches saying, tell me your best 3 tips on building the business. That's what you're going to get. So if you want to keep talking to other Beachbody coaches, then friend them. Why do you have your friends list full of Beachbody coaches? You don't need to be friends with other Kool-Aid drinkers because you're taking up space of other people that are not Beachbody coaches that could be your next client. Or I'm going to our Facebook page here to get my email. So that was my top 10. And I want to go through some of the questions. So do you want me to just start reading through some of them?
Yes, I'm going to ask one, the first one, because I didn't send you. It was, what would be your best advice to a new coach who just signed up and felt overwhelmed about notification, the code basic and everything?
Yeah, that's a great question. So you know this business, you know the language, you know what the website is, you know this all. With a brand new coach coming in, they're super freaking scared and they're excited. So they're excited, but they're scared and they still have life. So it's like you've got your life going on right now and you come in and all of a sudden you've got someone that just said, you've got to watch this webinar. You got to listen to this call. You got to get on the national wake up call. You got to do this training, read this book, then get on our team Facebook page. Too many coaches give them like a boatload of assignment in the very beginning. And that's freaking people out because the person hasn't removed a part of their current life off their plate yet to be able to make space for this yet. So you have to onboard them slow. And sometimes it's like, really that slow, but I want them to get to Emerald real quick. You can't push someone to get to Emerald real quick if they don't even know where the bathrooms are. When you start a job, you sit at your cubicle and you're like, how do I turn the computer on? How do I fax? Where's the bathrooms? Where's the lunchroom? You don't get the most important business for the company, right? The president of the company goes, glad to have you here at first day. Here you go. We're going to just pile on a bunch of work and it's up to you to grow and be super successful. They don't do that. So we have to treat this just like any other job and understand that we love it, but they don't love it just yet. We're scaring them. We're paralyzing them. So super simple. So for me, what I do is I have a training portal, and basically it's an evergreen system so that when a new coach is added, I prevent them from binge watching training. So I do a 14-day jumpstart, and basically it's one video of topic per day of what they really need to know right there that day. And I give them a simple assignment to complete. So obviously the first day is just being excited for them and letting them know, we just want to get your website up and running. So put your picture, put a quick bio, and make sure they understand the 2 different URLs. Which one will they send to get business and which one is the one they log in on. So basic, simple information. And you basically just divide it up 1 per day, because when you think about it, did this past week fly by? A week flies by. Before we know it, especially this time of year, a week is flying by. So in our minds, we think, oh, to onboard something in 14 days is too long. No, it's not, because weeks fly by really fast. So I would say remove a lot of the clutter. I don't push them to be on the national wake-up call on their first day. I don't. It'll come out. I don't tell them, go watch this webinar on the first day. It'll come. So remember, all that stuff is there. Just do what they need to do right now. Okay.
Music first. Cool.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So let's see here. Stephanie Gravel, she says, we all have deciding moments. What was yours in my coaching career? This is a really difficult question because I've always been a person that really likes to help people achieve success. So I've been doing that for a long time. So when I look at this with coaching, it was just the natural progression. It's not something that I was never doing. So I was doing it all well before, and I started teaching group fitness in 91. So that's 25 years ago that I've been teaching. So in my course of being in the fitness service world and also being a medical professional, I was already a service-oriented person. So coaching, I think just the switch is really understanding that this is a business. So it's not a hobby, and it's not just a fun little thing to help people lose weight. You got to look at it as developing people who want to make an income in the fitness industry. And that mindset is a big difference for it as well. What advice would I give my 2008 self? That, again, is I don't ever regret any step that have taken. I've made a lot of mistakes, and you never make them again. I've lost thousands of dollars overnight because of a stupid mistake. So my biggest rule of thumb is always just to make sure that you know the details for what you need to know the details for now. So a lot of coaches ask me, how do I achieve this? How do I get that t-shirt? How do I do the team cut? I don't know, because that stuff's not important to me. I don't need to put stuff in my head that's temporary. I only need to know what I need to know right now. So don't look to the next rank that you're going to. You're always working for like 3 ranks past it. Because if you are an Emerald coach right now and you're only working for Diamond, everybody skips Ruby, of course. If you're working towards Diamond, then you're missing the boat, because this is what happens. For those who work to Diamond, they get there. Whew, I'm Diamond. I can relax now. And that's what happens. Their businesses crash because they stopped the activity that got them there. And then all of a sudden people are canceling and stuff. So always work past the rank that you're trying to be, like 3 ranks past, because then that, of course, is going to be able to keep your business a lot more solid. But know the details. So that's the biggest thing, is always know exactly the details of where you're going and what's most important as you're going. All right, so let's see. Martine asks, what is your typical day like? Any tips to get really organized and efficient? So our days are going to be different. I've got a team of 171,000 people, as well as, of course, my own personally sponsored coaches. So I've been doing this for 7.5 years. What I do in my business every day is going to be totally different than, say, a brand new coach starting, an Emerald coach, a Diamond coach. Here's a quick way to look at it. And this actually was from Beachbody a year ago. Doug Moss put out a graphic, and it really makes quick sense that as a Emerald coach, how much of your time are you spending on your business? So if you look at the percent of per day, so if you've got 2 hours a day to work on your business, out of the 2 hours, what percent are you actually working on your own personal business? Meaning sharing the business opportunity, doing your own challenge groups, personal growth and development. So not your coaches. That is a high percent. It's like 95%, because you don't really have a team. So only 5% of your time is focused on the team. Emerald coaches, they get their 2 people, and then they try to be their BFFs, and they ride on them every day, sending them text messages and like, let's go for coffee, let's do this. They hold on to those 2 people like they're sisters, and you can't do that. You got to keep building more and more and more, because those 2 people are going to fall off. So it ruled down to, so the biggest mistake, again, as a Diamond coach, is Diamond coaches think that they've made it there, and they've got people now that they got to be responsible for. Well, the problem is it's only this many people. Your business activity still has to be 80% personal. It has to be 80% of you. So if you're a Diamond coach, every bit of the day of what you're doing has to be self-serving in your own business, not chatting on Facebook and liking them and sending them texts and researching for them when they said, I can't find where the return policy is. Well, freaking go to the Coach Online office and look at the FAQ at the bottom. Like, if you're doing that, you're only teaching your coaches how to work with you. So this is a tip also, if you get a text from your coach and you immediately read it and immediately respond, and you've only got a few coaches, you're training your coaches that you immediately respond and will do all the work for them. So you have to sometimes just put the phone down, not respond, because if they don't get their immediate answer, they're going to find out the answer. And you can, of course, respond later and say, hey, just make sure you got that. But you're going to teach them how to treat you. And you can't do that, of course, in your business. So I think that's Oh, yeah. So for instance, at the 15-star diamond, it's 50-50. So 50%. So if I've got 2 hours of the day to work in this business, 1 hour is solely self-serving. And then 1 hour would be in coach development and there's the team stuff. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. But my typical day is off and on. You know, I'm on and off this. Every day is scheduled, but because I teach group fitness and I'm running off to the kids to do stuff, it's like this off and on. All right. So Cindy asks, what was one of your biggest struggles and how did you react? And she said, for real. So, Cindy may not know that I'm one of the most honest people out there. I will tell you legit for real. Afterwards, how were you able to refocus your energy and keep going? There's no biggest struggle because I don't think that there's, this one trumped that last one. I think we're constantly just, finding different struggles. And one of just this past year, to give you guys a real honest snapshot, I spent the first 6 months of this past year creating those training sites for my downline, one for my personal sponsor coaches, and then one for my downline. And so for the first 6 to 7 months of this year, I was not sponsoring really heavily at all. And I was really having a hard time achieving my minimum of Success Club, which is 10 per month. So I was scraping the walls, stressed out towards the end of every month, which I hate. I always want to get everything done in the beginning of the month so I don't have to be stressed out. And that happened too many times this month or this year. And so that was a huge struggle. And my husband kept hearing it over and over again. So how did I handle it? Well, of course you can complain to them because they can hear that, but it constantly keeps you in reevaluation mode of, well, what am I doing? What am I doing that I know I should be doing, first of all? So because I was putting so much of my time into training creation for my team and running business boot camps and stuff, I was spending 80% of my time training and creation. And so it left me this much time to personally go out and find people that want to do this business with me or to do challenge groups. So I didn't do the activity I know I should have been doing to grow the business. And that, of course, hurt me hard because who cares that it was just 6 months from January to June, but we know that the activity you do 3 months, 4 months before happens later. So because the activity was consumed, it then translated into the fall. So I kind of was freaking out and I don't even know. I'll probably achieve elite this year, but I don't know if I'll achieve elite next year because of the lack of sponsoring and the lack of quality of people that I did sponsor. Because when I did sponsor, a lot of them, don't do what they say they want to do. And I can't force them. I'm not going to make them. So that is a huge struggle. And how do I fix it? Is you got to push away. You cannot be available for everyone. You have to say no, and you have to be okay that you're not constantly creating training. So for me, I'm constantly guilty thinking I got to create more for my team because you see another top coach doing something awesome for their team. And you kind of feel like, well, I'm the putz not doing anything. You gotta step away from that. You gotta be okay with how you support your team and know that as long as they're in good hands, you gotta focus on your own business. And that's of course how I handled it. So how do we stand on time, by the way?
15 minutes about 15 minutes.
Okay. So Shirley St. Pierre asked, how do I balance family life and a successful career? So now it's easier, obviously, because of having a successful business. And of course, my husband doing this with me, that, we have our roles. I don't need to do any of the numbers, the contracts, like we put on our own conference every year. I don't need to do any part of that. I'm the creative and the training person. And the kids, we have our own schedule of who takes Peyton to gymnastics and who does this to karate. So we have that divided off. But in the beginning phases, when he was starting to work with me in this, that was a real challenge because we're both right. We're both type A personalities and we're both successful in what we both did. So he wanted to tell me how to do things in a fitness world that he's never been in. And then I'm telling him how it's done. So we would clash a lot. So the thing with balancing family life and a business is, first, you can't force your partner or your spouse to want to do this business. And if you are trying to force your spouse, to sponsor coaches or to do this coach training call with me, and that's not their thing, you're going to cause a lot more problem. Let them be who they are. So I don't make my husband sponsor and do coach training because he's not that guy. He does all the back end brainy stuff because I don't like that stuff. So divide up what you both like, and then you're going to have a better working relationship. But for me, in the beginning phases, I did suffer family time for this business. And that's 7.5 years ago because there was nothing here. But guys, the wheels are here. You don't need to sacrifice your personal time or your family time for this. You just need to be smart about where it's at, and you need to be scheduled. So if you're not, then that's your first thing. So when the kids are sleeping, that's prime time, and set time limits. So if you want to spend time with your partner or your spouse, that you're not sitting in your office working all the time. And I always suggest, and this might be a hard pill to swallow, you're not a real business person if you do your business on the couch or in your bed. Just the truth. You got to be sitting in an office or designated space because you have to put yourself in that environment and in the mindset of business. And being comfortable on your bed or in front of the TV, it's too tempting to watch the DVR. So that you got to really think as a business person and schedule that time off and on. So hopefully that's it. So we are down to under 10 minutes.
Yes.
So one more question probably.
Yes, one more and we're good.
Okay. So does anyone have one on here? Because I'm just trying to read quick. If you got one, let me know.
No.
I do actually. I was wondering because you're saying, to talk about yourself a lot on social media. However, we want to talk about coaching opportunity. How do you go about talking about coaching opportunities to people? Do you just approach it on social media, or is it just more of a one-on-one way of doing it?
Well, obviously, multiple ways of how you're going to generate interest for coaching one-on-one, especially if you're in the very beginning stages. You really have to focus strongly on your warm market. So your influence, and directly go and have those conversations with people, not emailing them, actually setting up phone calls. So that's actually one of the techniques that I teach in my business boot camps that I run for my team. But social media is always working for you. So if you're not running Facebook ads, of course, you can lead towards that, but you have to have videos that live out there that tell the story of what coaching is about so that people will find it. YouTube is king. You have to use YouTube because that is what people are looking. That's where they search, is on YouTube. As far as when you're putting up your content, you don't want to put up a direct hard post. You can every so often, but very, very limited. The best way to be able to promote, of course, coaching without actually saying it outright is to recognize someone else's efforts. So show successes that someone else has had. And it's not always monetary. It's not always rank, but it could be they have a lot more confidence. They have more time that they're spending with their kids now on the weekends because they were able to get rid of that extra part-time job. So basically, if you exemplify successes of people that are doing this with you outside of just yourself, and then at the end of it, you give them a call to action, telling them where they can find out more information or contact you, put your email in the comments, then that, of course, is going to be able to do it on social media. So all of it together, there's got to be something that does it automatically for you that's evergreen. There's got to be videos out there, and you've got to, of course, be crafty about your posts. And then additionally, you have to every day still go out and specifically share it personally with someone. So too many times people are scared to do it in person, but you will never be amazing online sharing it if you can't effectively do it on the phone or in person with someone. So that is a challenge that I make. Again, my boot camps do is they have to do it in person or on the phone. All right.
That's good. Thank you.
Good.
Cool. All right, so I'm going to be jumping over to Periscope as we're wrapping this up, and I do a lot of training on Periscope, so I don't know if you guys follow me on there, but I'm going to be doing how your videos could be turning business away from you by the way you're formatting your video. So I'm going to be doing that right now as we end this call, but I do have a lot of recorded stuff on social media and how you can build your business all on my Periscope, and I'll talk about that over there as well. But thank you guys so much for inviting me. Hopefully this was helpful, and
Yes.
thank you.
Absolutely.
So much. I just want to say to my team that tomorrow we have a gift call. I like to call it that way. Scotty Hobbs as a guest speaker at 2:00. So you're invited. I'm going to send you the link So hope that everyone is going to be there. Thank you so much, Christine, because I'm grateful because, well, I find myself and my team really lucky to have someone like you. So, and
Thank you. I appreciate
thank
it.
you for your time.
All right. Thank you, guys. See ya. Thanks again.
Bye.
Thank you.